Welcome to the Superkick podcast for 2024. This is the round 12 review. And first off, we start off with the Barbecue League with Quiche taking on the Mangoes at the plate. And it was the Mangoes who prevailed by 24 points, with Jai Miss being the difference. However, Mangoes were able to get 4 multiple goal kickers to the Quiche's just one. Darcy being the best for the Quiche. Final score is 66-90. In the next game, it was a must-win for both sides, with the Pirates taking on the Vengeance at the Ship. It's now evened up the head-to-head with 4 each. It was the Vengeance who prevailed here by 15 points, with Dacos, Cripps, Bontempelli, and the other Dacos, so the Dacos brothers, all contributing. While Walters was the best for the Pirates, but they just didn't have enough depth. They need to top up in the coming weeks in order to be competitive. Final score is 76-61. Next game was second vs third, and it was the Donna's Good informed team coming into this game against Funky Balls, who had lost the last few. But Funky Balls has turned their form around and have been able to win by 12 points here, with just more depth. Don is good, while scoring high, didn't have the 8 goal kickers he needed in order to win this match, and that was the difference in the end. The final score is 89-101. In the middle of the table clash, it was the Sheep taking on the Fest at the paddock. Again, the Sheep have defied the critics and are able to win this game by 35 points, with Dylan Moore being the best with 5 goals. Impressive effort there. And Ollie Dempsey with 3. Unfortunately, Laflau has done an ACL, so that hurts him long term, and West has been suspended. But overall, good win was really required. The Fest would be disappointed with only Cook being the best with 3 goals. Final score is 110-75. In the final game of the round, we thought the Stars had returned to form, but no, that was a false dawn here. At the Galaxy, they were absolutely flogged by 78 points, with Jackson, Schultz, Curnow, Hugo Hagen, and McDonald all running amok, while the Stars only had Holmes and Marshall, Bruin and Petrarca kicking singles. So very poor performance by the Stars. Be looking to improve next week. Final scores 27-105. Moving on to the ladder now, and after round 12, the Funky Balls have regained top position with the game in hand. The Quiche is second, suffering the curse again of top spot. Mangoes are in third with low percentage, but seem to just keep winning. Donny's Good streak has ended and have dropped down now to fourth. Boogie Woogie Sheep have regained their form and they're into fifth. Scorching Stars just hanging on to sixth by percentage. Vital Magpies have come back and are in great form at the moment and should end up in the top 6 by the end of the season. Goldfest have slid to 7th. Pirates are 9th with 5 wins, and the Scorpions have a game in hand and could push for top 6, but their percentage is holding them back. And the Vengeance finally in last, but have had a win to keep them in slim finals contention. Moving on to next week with round 13, and it's the Vengeance at home at the Surgery taking on the Scorpions. Then the Vital taking on the Palatina Pirates. Mangoes can go to top if they beat the Scorching Stars and other results fall their way. Don is Good is taking on the Rubber Gloves in the BH Cup. Goldfest are taking on East Quiche, and the Funky Balls are taking on a Boogie Woogie Sheep Don is Good has the bye in the regular season. In the BH Cup second round final, it was the Scorpions taking on Minted Mick at the Planetarium, and it was the Minted Mick who prevailed with more depth, with Dustin Martin and Lukosius producing goals near the end of the games. Final scores were 83 to 108. Test. Frederick was the best for the Asians with 2 goals, but there was a multitude of goal kickers for the Fever, all doubles or more, with Georgiadis being the best with 4 goals won. Final scores 165 to 29. In the next game, it was the Pokey Bombs who were top of the table taking on the Inform Rocket Rod, and it was the Pokey Bombs who showed their class here with multiple goal kickers from Ben King, Harry Mackay, Cripps, Steng, and it's Cripps, sorry. While only Nick Dacos and Shannon Neal were able to produce multiples for Rocket Rod. Final scores 94 to 55. In the third clash of the round, it was the Walsh Dogs versus the Minted Mick, and the Walsh Dogs just did not turn up, with Crisp and Vandermeer the only goal kickers, whereas Minted had multiple of goal kickers, 7 in total, and Rory Lobb with just the 1 goal too. The final scores were 17 to 108, a 91-point flogging. It's only for the Fortress in this game, whereas Tracy, Dempsey, Cook, Hawkins, Darling all kick multiples. So it keeps the Gloves in with a chance of finals contention, and the Fortress would be disappointed with that effort, costing him percentage. Final scores 102 to 31. In the final game of the round, it was A-Track versus the Wobbly Kickers at the Fish Tank, and it was the A-Track who were too good, winning by 37 points, and it was Dylan Moore who did the damage with 5 goals, along with Gunston and Fogarty. Well, meanwhile, only Walters and McDonald were able to produce multiples for the Kickers. Final scores 93 to 56. Moving on to the ladder now, and it's the Pokey Bombs who have a 1-game lead at the top of the ladder, along with the White Line Fever, who also have a 1-game lead of 3rd in the Bamboozled Asians. Rocket Rod have half a game behind in 4th. Now they're half a game behind in Free Smoke in 5th, and with a game in hand, however. Rubber Gloves in 6th. Flying Fortress 7th. Would be disappointed with his effort this last week with losing a lot of percentage. Minton Mick with a very big percentage, but 1 game behind in 8th. All Out A-Track and Walsh Dogs all on 5 wins, and the Wobbly Kickers out of contention in last with 1.5 wins. Moving on to next week, in round 13, it's the Rocket Rod at home at Cape Canaveral against the Asians, Minted Mick against the Rubber Gloves, Flying Fortress against A-Track, Don is Good in the BH Cup final against the Rubber Gloves, Wobbly Kickers take on Free Smoke, and the White Line Fever take on the Walsh Dogs. Kinder surprise for this week? Well, there was a few surprises, but the biggest surprise was the winger from St Kilda in Mason Wood kicking 4 goals against West Coast Eagles. Shit like Bruce Award.
Deep to full forward. They should goal out of this. Amos, why did he handball? It's a throw.